Welcome back to Adventures Beyond the Horizon. I'm Anthony.
And I'm John. Today's episode is packed. We're diving into some big dream bucket list adventures and a couple epic future destinations.
Yeah, this one's all about looking ahead. Where we're going, what challenges we're excited to tackle, and the trails we can't stop thinking about.
Whether you're chasing the rugged trails of Alaska or dreaming of Yellowstone's wild back roads, we've got something for everyone.
So grab your maps, fire up your imagination, and let's start planning.
Adventure awaits. Let's jump right in. So Anthony, do you have any quick life updates? Any big life updates?
Well, I just got an opportunity to expand my media skills, so we'll see how that goes. Other than that, I don't really have much big going on. What about you, John?
No, not really. Just going to work. When prepping for this, I was taking a look at a couple new places I should go overlanding / camping, if you will. What's the term? The weekend warrior type style stuff.
Yeah, I am no stranger to the weekend warrior style.
Mm-hmm. All right, so now that we've kind of alluded to it, today's topic is going to be about a bunch of bucket list adventures, some future destinations that we're coming up with, and some personal adventure goals.
Well, for me, I made a list of at least 3, but I know we're just going to talk about one for right now. So the one I'm going to talk about is a bucket list destination for me would be Alaska, specifically the Denali region. It's the last frontier for exploration. It has challenging wilderness, and I can build my essential off-road skills there.
Well, where are you going to be building your off-road skills there if this is one of your bucket list destinations? Or are you going to already have all the skills you need in order to go survive in the Alaska wilderness?
Okay, well, it'll help me build it even further, because I have the basics now, but I'll need some more advanced skill for Denali for sure. But I know it's gonna challenge me a little bit. It's gonna challenge my recovery skills, real world practice using tools like my winch and my traction boards, which I am no stranger to my traction boards. I've used them many times, recovering myself from snow, mud, which that wasn't too successful, but it's there. It'll also challenge my navigation skills, which I know we have the Onyx Off-Road app for offline navigation, but I also want to try to learn paper map navigation. Yeah. Which, if we're ever in a situation where, say, my phone dies, I'm going to need to know how to use a paper map.
Well, I hope you would know how to read a map before you travel to Alaska.
That would be one of the preparation skills to develop.
Okay.
And then also building my mental stability. So in stressful situations, I usually have issues whenever stressful situations arise. My brain kind of freezes up. So building that mental fortitude is pretty big for me. What about you, John? I know you have a few places that you would want to go to.
Yeah, and I see that we actually have one that's kind of similar. You're saying you want to go to the Washington State Rainforest Trails. Are you specifically talking about the Hoh Rainforest?
I wasn't being too specific because it's more of just like the rainforest type environment in general. I didn't really have a lined up trail or area I wanted to do, but I know the rainforest kind of environment is what I want to try to be in.
Okay. Yeah, so the trail that you and we've talked about it here previously. I always forget the name, but it's like the Washington
Backcountry Trail or something.
Backcountry Trail, yeah. I would love to do that. If you are able to get some time off before I leave Washington, that would be some pretty cool epic times. And if you are able to do that, let me know and I'll start planning that.
We'll have to see. Work is kind of hard to work around.
Yeah, but and I'm going to be not available for all of April because I'm going to have a surgery done. So.
Well, I'll be in Hawaii anyways, so.
Yeah.
That works for me.
Yep.
Well, hopefully the surgery also goes well, but let's get back to it. What is one of the places that you would want to go to?
So, one of my places that I'm planning on going here either next weekend or the weekend after is going to be the Yellow Jacket Creek in Washington. It's over by Mount St. Helens. It's a creek that I was looking at. It's a relatively easy trail on the app of Onyx Off-Roads, which I want to go ahead and clear. This is what we use. We're not sponsored. This is just what we personally use.
I wish we were sponsored.
Yeah, it's going to be a while before we get any sponsorship.
Hey, Onyx, if you want to, sponsor us, we won't say no. We already use your product and we already know how good it is, so let us promote your product.
So, yeah, it's a pretty cool spot from what I'm hearing. Apparently you can actually see like some lava like trails.
Oh, lava runoff and stuff like that?
Yeah, a lot of runoff because of St. Helens is still an active volcano.
Hopefully it won't blow up on you.
It's active, however, it has no activity, so it's fine. Does that make sense? It's not going to erupt anytime soon.
So in other words, you'll live.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's got a bunch of dispersed camping there, and if we decide not to do the dispersed camping, there's also a campground right outside. There's going to be a lot of wildlife encounter because it's the trail, but it's one that I don't think is traveled very often.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is a very good building block, kind of like the one that you have, the place that you keep going back to. I don't think I'm going to keep going back here because it's only like a 13-mile trail, which I could get it done all in one day. I think I'm going to take the wife out or take the wife out and the roommate out.
So it'd be just a day trip, no camping?
No, it was definitely a day trip because it is pretty far from the house, and if we went, it would be we would probably leave on Friday afternoon after I get off work, camp on Friday to Saturday, and possibly Saturday to Sunday.
So not a day trip, a weekend trip.
Yeah, a weekend warrior kind of dealio.
Mm-hmm. So I have a question for you. How long have you been wanting to do this?
So my roommate and I, we've talked about Mount St. Helens before, and he's highly recommended going, so I just thought this one's pretty close. I thought it would be pretty cool.
Okay. I know this is not on the list, but if you could go anywhere, even outside of Washington, where would it be, though?
I haven't done a whole bunch of research of outside of Washington because of my liberty radius. I'm not allowed to basically leave Washington unless I'm on leave. So I haven't done too much looking into it. But I hear there's a lot of good trails in Canada, like right above me, and there's also a bunch of trails in Idaho and Oregon. There's a Oregon National Park or something like that I've heard in the passing before.
Yeah, and that's what kind of why I chose Alaska for mine, especially with your reference to like the Canada trails. It's very similar in the region of Alaska and some parts of Canada. That's another reason why I chose it. I wouldn't mind doing a trip to Canada. That'd be awesome. I know there's some really good trails in Canada.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Make a whole, like, I guess that would have to be like a week and a half kind of deal.
Probably be a little longer than that, depending on what we're trying to do.
Yeah, depending on what we're trying to do, where we're going, what time of the year. So yeah, I think that will be a cool little thing that we can do. We'll have to start planning that one. What part of Canada do you think you would want to go to?
Well, of course, it's going to be the western side of Canada. So I guess, Ontario is western Canada, right?
Vancouver area.
Vancouver, that's what I'm thinking of, not Ontario.
Ontario is kind of center, I believe.
Yeah, Vancouver, that area, not the city of it, just kind of in that general direction. I've seen YouTube videos of people doing trail in Canada, especially this guy called Story Till Now, if you've ever heard of him. He's based out of Canada and does a lot of trails up there, and some of those places look absolutely gorgeous, especially because those parts that he goes to aren't populated as much. So I just think it'd be a cool trip.
Yeah, Ontario is kind of directly above like Wisconsin and Michigan, so you're pretty far off.
Yeah, I wasn't exactly sure. Hey, my geography of Canada is not on par. Okay, it's not the best.
I guess it's time for you to go back to school then.
Okay, name the capital city of Canada. That's what I thought. You can't look it up. That's cheating.
It's not Vancouver, isn't it? Ontario.
I think it is Ontario.
Yeah. Hold on. Now I have to look it up to test my knowledge.
The curiosity got him.
No, it's Ottawa. Fuck.
We were both wrong. Oh crap.
Yeah, it's in Ontario.
Oh. Well, I guess
Same
we both
thing,
need to go back to school.
But the place you're thinking that is Eastern is the British Columbia.
Western, not Eastern. The place I want to go is Western.
Yeah, British Columbia. Then it's Alberta.
Well, okay. We're going to get back onto it a little bit.
Let's hop back onto the trail, if you will.
Yes, turn that wheel and get back onto the dirt. So, before I made 3 places I wanted to go to as a bucket list, and this was kind of in preparation of the big trip, or my dream trip that I've wanted to do. So, my lifetime achievement kind of trip. Alaska, Denali region, of course. Moab, Utah, for its sandstone and kind of deserty feel. And then we also have, like I said, Washington State rainforest. Those 3 trips kind of prepare me for the big dream trip, and that is the Pan American Highway. Starting from the northernmost tip of Alaska, all the way down to the southern tip of South America. We'll probably end up doing an episode about this, so I don't have a ton of information about it, but I've seen documentaries, YouTube videos about people doing this, and it's a big trip. You're going through 2 different continents on this. Most people take it in sections, but the skills I said I need to learn, the mental stability, the recovery skills, and I mean there's plenty more skills that I have to develop, especially for a trip like that, like defensive driving, combat skills if stuff happens. Just
combat skills, that's a bit excessive.
So say if you get robbed or someone is robbing you, you would want to learn how to fight back or something like that. There are so many things that can happen.
I've got one for this. Parry this, you filthy casual.
That's why we'll always keep strapped on our trip as well. Actually, I don't know if they'll allow that kind of stuff through the borders.
Yeah, that is something we would have to do a lot of research on, is if you wanted to stay strapped. Yeah. Or if you just want to go hunting in those places as well.
I feel like you would have to have like a permit for each one of those countries. The documentaries I've watched, it took them like a year and a half to plan for that trip. So it's
that's probably. I bet you somebody was carrying the entire time. That is probably something that they did.
I'm sure. But that would be like, if I did that trip, I would say my life is complete. I've done all that I've wanted to do. That is the big dream trip I will forever want to do. And if I do that before I get too old, then maybe I'll do it in different continents, but like across the sea. But that's my big thing.
I got a couple questions.
Okay.
First of all, would you want to stay strapped that entire time?
I feel like it'd be a great idea too, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I personally would want to as well.
I would at least want to have some sort of weapon or something to protect myself.
Yeah, well, that's also another thing. Can you bring big knives like the sacks that I have? Would I be able to bring that across borders as well?
There might be restrictions on certain things, but I wouldn't imagine it'd be too big of a deal. You just have to make sure they know about it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna have to do a bunch of research on it because, of course, I would want to bring you along with me on that kind of trip. And we have our other friends too that might want to go. I don't know if Trevor would want to do something like that. That would be...
I don't think so. I know of a couple people that I work with who might be interested in doing something like that. Also, with that, bringing more people. Let's say you had a girlfriend or a wife at the time. Are you bringing them with you? Would they want to join you?
I mean, it depends. It depends on what they want to do. I'm sure that if they did want to come, they would have to know what would be happening. So, constant communication, just them recognizing that I'm going to be gone for a while, and they're going to also have to have mental stability with that. Just kind of how, like, Olivia has to have some mental stability whenever you go underway. But there's a give and take. Like I said, it's a life goal. And I'm not going to let anything stop me from pursuing that life goal.
What about a dog? Would you bring a dog?
Probably. If I had a dog, yeah. Maybe not a little tiny dog.
No. I don't think Henry will be around if we ever get to do this. And if he is around, wow, he's going to be an old pupper, and I don't think he'd be able to go.
You just have to think about it this way. The more you bring along, the more responsibility you have. And you want to make this as smooth as possible, especially for a trip that big. And like I said, we're going to go into more detail about it in probably a different episode. I wouldn't doubt it.
I just had a couple questions. Those were the ones that I had.
Okay.
I have a bucket list destination that I would really love to go to. It's the Yellowstone National Park. I want to visit there so badly. I think if we went there, that would be another great preparation for the Pan-American Highway. Mm-hmm. It's definitely a spot where you could definitely learn a whole bunch. There's a bunch of different geothermal wonders there. There's a lot of wildlife. It has the rugged backcountry roads, but it also has a bunch of paved roads as well. Like it's such a big place that it's one of those places that people come to America to visit. It's one of the oldest national parks, so there's a lot of historical insight there. So
if we could find a place, like, you remember whenever we went at that one campsite in Colorado, I think it was near Vail, the one where we had to hike up to this ridge, and it was just amazing view. If we had something like that in Yellowstone, it'd be absolutely gorgeous.
I'm sure we would be able to find one. The stroke of luck that we had to have of, like, do we want to go down that? Well, let's go check how deep that puddle is. It's not that deep. My truck can handle it. Let's go. Gets down halfway. Oh, it's a bit too rocky, but you know what? We'll keep going. I don't think it'll get any worse. And it didn't get any worse. We got to the end, and then we were like, okay, well, let's just go walking. Well, there's a kind of a trail here, so let's go that way.
Yeah, and you all didn't want to camp there.
I wanted to explore more of the trail as well, which we ended up not doing.
Yeah.
But I think that was fine. It was such a hard place to get to that I'm glad we spent 2 nights there.
Yeah, that was a good call on the 2 nights there. I think that was one of the it combined what I wanted to do, because I always wanted to, like, camp in a overly grown area where it's just woods surrounding us, then also having an amazing view, wildflowers, a field of wildflowers.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive. If you go check out our YouTube channel, it has a picture of us with the wildflowers in the back. I don't know how well you can see it, but we could
always post that picture to Instagram.
Yeah, we can always post it to Instagram.
But I think overall, I think that is one of my favorites for camp spots. I think I'm gonna go back there and camp this summer there.
In that spot again?
Yeah. I mean, because whenever we went over there, it looked like no one had been there for years. Like, we had to clear the campsite out.
Yeah.
So I highly doubt that anyone is going to be there this year.
Well, yeah, that's also where we picked up all that wood and the Nick, wasn't it? Nick's
I think it was
water
Nick,
bottle. Yeah.
Thanks, Nick, by the way, for all the wood and the ominous water bottle we dared not to drink.
Oh, yeah. So much bacteria, probably.
Ugh.
Stagnant water, for sure.
Yeah, that water bottle was just sitting on the ground right next to the pile of wood. And I don't know. It looked like it hadn't been touched for a while. They're just like, all right, let's use it.
How do we always do this? How do we always go back to Colorado?
Because that was our biggest trip that we've done together.
Mm-hmm. I think that was my biggest trip in general.
I think it was mine too. At least it was my longest.
Yeah.
Because we got what? We kind of got 3 different environments from that. Because we got the desert, we got the Colorado woods, and then we kind of got like the plains. In other words, so that was a pretty diverse trip there.
I think when I'm driving back across America, I think that's when we should go back to that camp spot. We'll see if I think we'll see if Trevor wants to join us. That will be
would have to fly out again. That'd be interesting
June or July, and then he could just drive back with me. He wouldn't have to get a second flight.
I guess that is true. You'd have to drive. You'd have to. It depends on what like his work schedule though. So
we'd have to start planning that like soon.
We would. When are you moving back?
We want to be out of this place at the end of June. So
essentially around the time that we did it last year.
Yeah, pretty much. I want everything out by the end of June, so that's where all the movers will be. Olivia will already be in South Carolina. Mm-hmm. She'll have the apartment there, so the movers can move our stuff across, and I'll just take my time with my motorcycle in the truck. So I will have the motorcycle. I will need to leave it in a safe place.
I'm sure we can just leave it at my aunt's house. Sure, it'll be fine.
Okay.
But are you?
It will be on a trailer. It will be on a trailer.
Are you gonna have your stuff, like moving stuff, with you, or are you gonna have camping stuff?
I'll bring my camping stuff because I think that's my intention, is to go across country. I guess we should talk about it here, but yeah, I'll be moving, and I think that would be pretty cool if I just went, instead of camping at hotels, I just did a bunch of dispersed camping. So I guess I'll have to start planning a bunch of stops there too. Yeah.
How long were you here? How long did we go camping? What, 4 days?
Yes, because I had about 2 weeks off, and it took 2 days to get there, 2 days to get back, and I needed some time. And just the way your schedule worked, I was here for about 2 to 3 days before leaving.
Yeah.
And then I had a day of recovery before having to go back to work.
Mm-hmm. We could almost make it as long as last year's, depending on Olivia.
I wouldn't say depending on Olivia. I would say depending on how much stuff I'm bringing. You know.
Yeah. We'll plan it out. We'll plan it out further, but yeah. If we want to do that, we need to start planning it like now.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but I think we should get back onto it. So, did you already finish your thoughts with Yellowstone?
Yeah, I believe I covered everything I wanted to talk about with the Yellowstone.
Okay, so to recap, we talked about my dream. I guess it's more of a bucket list. My bucket list place: Alaska, Denali area, Moab, and Washington State, and the Olympic National Park area, the rainforesty areas. And you, John, you talked about your Yellowstone trip and then your Yellow Jacket Creek. in Washington.
Yeah, that's my one of my future destinations. I'll be going there here in a couple weeks, and then one of my the only bucket list destination that I could think of readily is the Yellowstone National Park.
Gotcha.
And then we also really touched on your dream dream overlanding trip is the Pan American Highway.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be a hell of a trip.
So, we're getting to the point in this episode where we would want to talk on any listener submitted bucket list destination. However, we do not have any currently, so I do encourage you to please go on our Instagram and share your bucket list adventures.
Or even on Spotify. You can also comment on Spotify and YouTube. We also have the YouTube episodes out there too.
Also, speaking of which, if you guys are liking the background music and our intro and our outro, we're going to go ahead and start posting all of that on YouTube as well. I believe Anthony has already posted one, and I think I'll use it for this outro today. What is it called again, Anthony?
Overlanding.
Yeah. So,
I think that was one of the first songs I ever wrote myself.
Yep. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely go check it out. Yes, please share your ideas with us. We would love to see what everybody else has out there.
And I also want to remind you listeners about adventure safety. Make sure you're always prepared. And the importance of responsible exploration. So don't leave your trash everywhere. Make sure you pick it all up. Otherwise, you're going to see more trail closings. So you always have to stay safe.
What's the term that everybody likes to use? No trace left behind or something? Yep. No trace left behind. And preparation, I definitely do gotta say, is key.
Indeed.
I think that wraps it up. Let's go ahead and keep your tires on that trail.
And we'll see you beyond the horizon.
Peace.
Out.
Saturday morning, I wake up and see the sunrise. Pack the truck with recovery gear and supplies. Put my route in my GPS and play some tunes and sing it's time to go.